What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be back to work on the Ford Mustang GT. As you guys seen in the previous episode, we went ahead and got all the body work done. And now in today's episode, we are going to be getting this thing ready for paint and probably going to go ahead and take it to the paint shop to get it painted. As you can see, it's going to be a really simple paint job, basically just a rear bumper and the quarter panel. But before we get started on painting this car, today's video is sponsored by Manscaped. So if you guys don't know what Manscaped is the global men's lifestyle brand that's disrupting the men's grooming market, trusted by over 8 million people worldwide. And this right here is their Performance Pack 4.0. I've actually had the 3.0 in the past. Now the 4.0 steps it up, especially with their new grooming kit right here. Check this beast out. This thing features a ceramic blade, to stop you from cutting yourselves, because that's a real no-go. And it also has a super bright 4K light, so you can get in all those dark areas. Now another super cool thing in the Performance Pack is the Weed Whacker 2.0. Now this thing spins over 7,000 RPMs to get all them pesky hairs out of your nose or your ear. And it's super nice and convenient. It's super small. So now that we're done cutting all the hair, we have our other stuff right here. This right here is some crop preserver. I'm pretty sure you guys know what this is right here. Now, I recently got married, and this stuff right here comes in clutch, especially after working them long, hard days at the shop. And last but not least, the Manscaped boxers. These things are absolutely awesome. They keep everything cool down there. So you gotta have somewhere to store all this stuff, especially when you're traveling or going out of town. Check this little case out. You can put all your hygiene products in one nice, secure traveling case. So if you guys are looking to get your hygiene in check, definitely go to manscaped.com and use the promo code vTuned20 to get 20% off your order, plus free international shipping. So it's time to get back to work on the Ford Mustang. And as you can see, we did do a lot of cleanup in the shop. We actually washed the floors too, because there was some comments saying the floors were dirty, but we went ahead and pressure washed everything, got the entire shop nice and clean. And now we're gonna be focused back on this Mustang right here. And I gotta say, this thing is almost done. We really just have to paint this quarter panel right here. But before we actually get to sanding, I am quite curious, because when I was driving this car, there was a lot of lights on the dash for like ABS system. So we got our trusty OBD scanner right here, and we're gonna go ahead and scan all these codes and see exactly what's going on. I don't know what could possibly be going on, because it does say it has ABS codes. Let's go ahead and turn this on. As you can see, let's crank it up. So we have ABS light, traction light, and all those codes on. Sensor lights are on because there's no sensors in here. But I do really want to see what's going on with the traction control. I hope there's nothing seriously wrong, because I'm pretty sure this car jumped about a 10-foot jump and bashed everything. But we're going to be using our launch scanner. This thing is an absolute beast. So let's go ahead and plug it up and see exactly what's wrong with this car. So we got the little OBD chip plugged in. Now let's go ahead and scan all these parts and see exactly what's going on with this car. Hopefully there's nothing serious. I don't know what could possibly be damaged. Maybe like an ABS line or something like that. Now we're basically just gonna do a whole scan on everything and see how much codes pop up on this thing. Oh, we got 2 codes for that. Oh no. But a lot of these codes could be because the battery actually died and we have to jump it off, but we'll see what happens. All right, so we have a lot of codes right here, and yeah, it probably is from the battery voltage. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and clear all these, and these are all for the tail lights. So let's just clear everything. Oh, we got the code for that. So we have the front right wheel sensor, and I'm guessing something's broken over there, so I guess we'll probably have to just replace it. And all these right here are just because the sensors are gone. So that's pretty good. It seems like it's just a simple issue, nothing too serious. These are all just from the parking sensors right here, and then something going on with the sensor. So we'll have to definitely look into that. Probably just go ahead and order a new sensor for that front right wheel. So now we know why all the lights are on the dash. We're gonna go ahead and order that right speed sensor. And now it's time to go ahead and just start sanding all this down. Basically just this rear bumper lightly in the back right here. Smooth all this out and get the quarter panel sanded. And then we can take this thing to the other shop and get it painted and then reassemble. And this thing should be almost done. this thing all nice and sanded, now it's time to go ahead and slap these parts back on, and we're gonna take it over to my dad's shop. We're gonna get this thing painted in. I mean, it should be relatively simple. Basically just a quarter panel and bumper, shouldn't take us too long. So let's slap the bumper back on, put the taillights on, and drive this thing over there. So we got the car in the paint booth. We did also do a little bit more sanding. I went ahead and scuffed all this area right here. Basically got it ready for a blend. Then I did have to throw a little bit more primer on the quarter panel, but it's all good to go. Now all we need to do is tape this thing up and get it sprayed in. So check it out, we got the entire car all nice and taped up. We also have the bumper inside here, and we are gonna go ahead and start cleaning this all off. And I'm actually gonna be painting this car. This is probably gonna be the first car I've ever painted. I've painted a couple bumpers, but that was probably like 3-4 years ago. And I'm pretty excited to get this thing sprayed in. Honestly, I don't know how it's gonna look, but we're gonna go ahead and get all these parts nice and clean and get them sprayed in. Car all nice and clean in the paint booth, and here is the paint gun we are going to be using. This thing is $20 I think at Harbor Freight. This is the one that comes with the regulator, and hopefully we can get a nice paint job out of here. Check this out, brand spanking new. We have the cup and the spray gun, and then we have our paint right here. So let's go ahead and set this paint gun up, get the paint in the paint gun, and go ahead and start spraying this car in. I think this is going to be pretty cool. I mean, it's a $20 gun. Let's see how good it sprays. So now that we got all the paint mixed up in the paint gun, the most important thing you're supposed to do when painting something is cleaning it. And now after we wash it all down with some wax and grease remover, we're gonna go ahead and use a tack rag. And this is kind of like a sticky rag. And basically it's gonna just take off any of the fine particles that are stuck on there that you can't really get off with the rag. But we're gonna go over everything, and it's good to clean it every single time you spray it, every time you do any little thing on a car. So we're gonna go ahead and clean all this down. And hopefully this paint job turns out good. We'll see. It's gonna be kind of cool if it does. If this thing turns out good, I'm gonna buy a paint booth and start painting. So we got everything nice and wiped down, and now it's time to go ahead and start spraying. So we're gonna go ahead and close the doors, turn the fan on, and hopefully get this some paint, and hopefully get some paint laid down on it. Check out this beautiful purple gun. I'm kind of curious to see how good this is actually gonna look. So let's go ahead and start spraying. So check it out, we got everything nice and painted in. I gotta say that Harbor Freight gun definitely lays it down pretty good. I mean, the whole quarter panel is all nice and painted. I definitely made sure to paint all the edges and stuff like that, and we kind of just blended everything in. And now I know it might look a little bit funny, but after we put the clear coat down, it'll definitely look a lot better. Check out the rear bumper. We sprayed all that in. We put about 3-4 coats just to make sure everything was coated, because you definitely don't want it to bleed through later on. So we got some clear coat mixed up, so let's go ahead and spray it with some clear coat. check it out. We went ahead and put the rear bumper back on and the taillights, and I gotta say, this paint job actually turned out really good. I mean, check out the rear bumper. There's no really imperfections. There's a little tad bit of trash here and there, but obviously we can buff all that out, and it lined up good. And man, I gotta say, I'm a pretty decent painter for the first time painting in a couple of months. I mean, this can be buffed out a little bit. Definitely need to get a better paint gun. That one, I just wanted to try it out and see how it would look. And check out the quarter panel. It looks really good. All the body work looks good. I do need to adjust the bracket just a little bit, just to lift it up so that bumper fits flush onto there. But I kind of just slapped it together so we can drive it back to my shop. Man, look at the paint job. Hey, it doesn't look bad. A little trash here and there, buff that out. And I think there was a little bit of water in the lines. I forgot to drain the compressor, which, I mean, I completely forgot about doing that because I was trying to get this car all prepped up. But man, hey, I think I'm gonna start painting more stuff. I'm definitely gonna get a newer gun or a better gun, because I mean, that one was 24 bucks. And I mean, it laid down some glass. Like, check out some areas just look absolutely perfect. I mean, you definitely have to learn the technique of spraying. As you guys know, I don't spray, I don't paint. I haven't painted in probably like 2-3 years. And the only thing I've ever painted was a bumper. So it's kind of good to learn new skills. We're gonna head back to my shop, probably put the whole bumper back together, and then we also need to change that front engine mount. And hey, this car will be almost done. So guys, we were back at the shop, and now it's time to go ahead and put this car all back together exactly how it was before we take it apart. We have a lot of stuff to do on the rear bumper. Basically put this rear diffuser back on, put the sensors back on, put all the marker lights on, and button everything up. So that way this thing will be ready to hit the road. Got the entire car all back together, and man, I gotta say, it looks absolutely incredible. The paint job turned out amazing. We are definitely have to do some paint correction on this car because I can't seem to like wash all this stuff off. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's like a bunch of trash or something all over the car. You can probably see it in the video right there, and I can't wash it off. So we'll probably have to maybe get a claymore, or I'll get my friend over at Chattanooga Mobile Detailing to come out here and just detail the entire car. But man, I gotta say, this thing turned out awesome. I mean, basically everything is done on this car except for a couple of minor mechanical stuff, such as the engine mount, and that's pretty much it. And I'm still debating on whether to keep these rims or get some different ones. I mean, they look really nice. I mean, if we painted them like black or maybe like a silver or something like that, they look pretty good actually. Maybe even lower the car just a little bit. You know, you can see right there. I mean, these rims are nice. These are some Boston forged, but the car turned out absolutely incredible. And I'm super happy that I decided to go ahead and paint that quarter panel. And I'm probably gonna get some better paint guns and start painting more in the future, because it's been something I've always been scared to do. But then once you get started with it, I mean, it's pretty simple. You just have to do a lot more prep work and stuff like that to get a nice paint job. But the car looks absolutely gorgeous. And honestly, I can't wait to daily drive this thing. I mean, I drove it a little bit, I mean, Mustangs are pretty cool. It's been one of my dream cars for quite some time now. Well, I would say kind of like a bucket list car because I've always wanted one, but I didn't really want to buy one to rebuild. And we bought this one right here with some minor damage. And man, I gotta say, this thing is an absolute beauty. I mean, the front end is literally perfect. We didn't have to paint anything. It's all OEM up here. It looks absolutely killer in the front. And I did also get my engine mount. I just got to go pick it up at the Ford dealership. I just haven't had time to do that. And honestly, we'll probably have to put this thing on the lift. We do have a little bit of update on the Ferrari. We are getting the oil cooler and the radiator, so that car should be running and driving here soon. We can finally get it off the lift because, man, that thing's been taking up the lift for way too long. It's just been in a pain in the butt. And that's why you don't buy Ferraris, well, older Ferraris, because the parts are super hard to get and stuff like that. I mean, we got all the framework done on this car. I know y'all haven't seen this thing on the channel for quite some time. It's kind of just been sitting collecting dust. But I mean, we don't have any of the cooling system. We can't really drive this car around. So yeah, we'll update on that car. And this car will update. We're just stealing parts off of it. I mean, we got to get back to work on this car. But honestly, I love doing these cars like this. Just simple, quick rebuild instead of doing all this grinding and cutting and body filler work. It kind of just gets exhausting and it kind of burns you out pretty quick. And a little update on the Corvette. A lot of people were asking. We kind of just pushed it outside for now. We were doing some cleanup in the shop. And honestly, I still don't know what I want to do with this car. Do I want to do a drift build? Yes. Do I have the time or the energy to do it? I'm still not sure about that part right there. As you can see, this engine bay is pretty screwed up. I have found a couple of parts cars on the auction that are not playing just yet. There's one that's completely stripped out. Then there was one that had the whole entire rear burned. So maybe we'll wait for a parts car, maybe use this one for parts or turn into a drift car. But honestly, I think I'm just gonna take my time and think about what the best solution would be to do with this car instead of just jumping in it and kind of just starting a project that I'll probably never get done. So yeah. So guys, that's gonna be a wrap for today's video. We got the Mustang pretty much all done. The only thing left is basically put some rims on it, put an engine mount on it, and that car is complete. And we'll probably start daily driving that car. And I can't wait, honestly, to drive it because it's going to be a fun little Mustang to just drive around because, you know, the BMW, the miles are going up too fast. And we definitely want to switch that out before we get too high miles. And that's a pretty cool thing about rebuilding cars is you always have a choice on what kind of cars to drive. We'll be driving a Mustang here soon. And man, look at that right there. I mean, the last thing we need to do on this car, get some new rims or just paint those and replace that engine mount, put it on the lift. And that's it. But if y'all enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Also follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching.